We are privileged to have with us Mr. Siddesh Bobhe, CEO, EMWE, Center Head Pune. We request Mr. Dinesh Anandwar to please felicitate sir. Us on the future trends in technology. Can we have you, sir, please?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. So just give me 1 minute while we get the presentation on. I'm going to keep it nice and short. I know we are about an hour delayed, so we'll try and make up for time. I don't have too many long slides, but I got some nice pictures for you, and hopefully give you something to take back, in terms of what to look forward to. Can you go to the next one? The world is changing, right? When I did my engineering in computer science, I didn't have an email address. Okay, I not looked at Google. I had not even looked at a browser when I did 4 years of computer science. This was in the mid 90s. Today, my daughter, who is 14, has had a blog for the last 6 years. She has actually been blogging for 6-7 years. So things are changing very dramatically, and I just want to leave you with a sense of how things are changing and what you need to do to be prepared for it. Next. So you guys have heard of Uber, right? Anybody Uber? Not heard of Uber? So what is Uber? Anybody? Thoda loudly. Taxi company, right? I heard people say taxi company. And it seems to be a very obvious thing, everybody knows Uber. But Uber is not a taxi company. So if you go to the next slide, please. So in Australia, they deliver kittens to your office when you need to, just take a break from work and just de-stress yourself. If you think Australians are crazy, remember that a few months back, they delivered puppies in Pune itself. And at the end of the day, when you look at Uber, you realize it's not a taxi company, but they are actually a technology platform that takes services on one side, consumers on the other side, and just makes a match of what you want with people who are willing to give it to you, right? So you could deliver ice creams, you could deliver flowers, you could deliver food, everything on the same platform, and it would not be a taxi company anymore, it would just be a marketplace. But what is the fun part of it? They do a lot of matching, they do search pricing, and they do a lot of these in real time matching and things like that, right? So look at Uber as one example of what's changing. Airbnb, if you look at their model, very similar to the Uber model. They have houses on one side, castles, houseboats, anything you can think of as a place to stay, and they connect you with people who want to rent those people out. So it's not a hotel company, but it's a technology platform. Next one. And this particular restaurant, iSavory in New York, it delivers you gourmet food, MasterChef quality food, but they don't have a place to sit. All they do is they deliver to you at home once you order gourmet food on your mobile. So if you take all three examples, what we are really looking at is a use of technology to map services on one side and consumers on the other side, and in the middle you have your Google Maps, or you can have matching algorithms, you can have recommendation engines, you can have analytics, obviously payment gateways and all of that stuff, but at the end of the day it's a technology platform. Go next. In India, even if you looked at maybe a year back and somebody told me you could tweet money to your friends, you'd think I was crazy, right? I mean, imagine social media, Facebook, Twitter, and imagine a bank and actually bringing these two experiences together. But today, ICICI Bank has pockets, Kotak has their hashtag banking, and everybody is moving to a point where, the way you like people, you can send money to people. So again, you just start thinking of what it means to an individual, what it means for your parents, what it means for your, relatives who may not be tech savvy, but tomorrow for a bank, for a restaurant, for food, for hoteling, all they need to do is open an app and start playing with technology to get their services, right? Look at Now think of what it also means to students like yourselves and to industries like ourselves, which are IT driven and really depend on outsourcing work from large product companies. So if you do a comparison of AT&T and WhatsApp, and these are slightly old numbers, but you still get the point. AT&T took 42,000 employees to make revenues of 110, to get users, in the range of 110 million users. 42,000 employees for 110 million. WhatsApp did 400 million, they're probably close to a billion now, with something like 55 employees. Now think a little bit what that means for campus placements, right? If I am AT&T, I can come to PCCOE and maybe recruit 100 people. If I am WhatsApp, I don't have 100 people in my entire company and I don't need them even if I make 500 million users in my company. So what it essentially means is that if our entire business gets taken over by the Ubers and the Olas and the Airbnbs of the world, dollars of revenue today with a very small business team compared to the days in the past when you needed hundreds of thousands of people to run your business. Just go to the next one. So this transformation is unavoidable. You can run away from social media, you can run away from IT, you can run away from smartphones, but you can't survive in the world that is coming up very, very quickly at our doorsteps. So what is driving this, right? So we talk about future trends and I'll just quickly go through a couple of them. Go to the next one. Obviously social media. A lot of people think social media is about sharing pictures on Instagram and Snapchat. But for most businesses today, you cannot survive unless you have a social media presence. So if I have a problem with my car or my business or my hotel or the food that I eat, my first reaction is to tweet about it. And not only that, my expectation is that I need somebody who represents that company, and I don't want an intern who is doing an MBA, but I want somebody who I feel is a VP or a director to respond to my tweet and solve my problem in 10 minutes. So we are no longer in this situation where people would write customer desk letters to the customer service desk and expect a reply in a month. We expect a reply in 10 minutes today. Right? Again, there is a lot of opportunity for IT here, but there is also a lot of opportunity for things to go very badly wrong. Because if your Twitter handle is not being looked at, people are going to crimp. People are going to create those expectations now from your company, and you need to be able to respond to that in 5 minutes and 10 minutes, not in 5 days anymore. Right? Go to the next one. Cloud, obviously everybody, every project I have mentored in the last couple of years is a cloud project. So I'm assuming you guys know, Azure and AWS and all of that stuff. So social media, cloud. The third thing is, can you go to the next one? Apps. Very important point here to note that in the future, anything and everything you want to consume in IT, you will expect it to be an app, right? Now what does that mean? It means a lot of jobs for Android and iPhone developers, but it also means that your projects will no longer be 3-month and 6-month old projects. They will be 5-day projects, because the average time to create an app today in my expectation is 5 days. So the question is, if you're going to create a service and you say I'm going to create an app for it, I expect it to be ready within a week. Which also means that your job, which you could have earlier taken 3 months, 6 months as a project, you need to finish it in a week and put it online and then keep updating it all the time. So social media, cloud, apps. The fourth thing, go forward. Fourth thing is big data, right? A lot of people talk about big data. When I ask them what big data is, they say big data is data which is very big. But that's not big data. So can you go to the next one? So there are 4 V's, and we talk about these 4 V's when we talk about big data. So first one is volume. So obviously it has to be lots of data, but it also has to be in terms of velocity, which means this data is being generated very rapidly. For example, during the India-Pakistan match the other day, there were 700,000 tweets that got generated in that period of 2 to 3 hours. So imagine the amount of data you have to capture and process in a very, very short amount of time. So big data is volume, velocity. Third is variety. because you will have audio visual, you will have text, you will have all kinds of data. And the fourth, which is most important, is the veracity, which is you're no longer going to be able to work with data that is black and white. So you actually have 50 shades of gray in your data now, right? So data which may mean something to some people, it may not be completely understood. Data which is half cooked, half baked, and you still need to use it to make decisions. So the 4 V's, if you understand, then you are good. But if you just stick with volume, then I think you're missing a lot of stuff of what big data is all about. Next one. My previous, I think 2 talks before me, somebody talked about gamification, right? What you're seeing on screen here, for example, is actually a performance report of an average employee at the company I work for, which is Persistent. And what you see here, when you look at the house, you look at the swimming pool, the thing you get in mind is, oh, this guy is a rich person or well-to-do person, right? And what gamification allows you to do is you take boring data like performance or your examination reports or your academic report card in some sense. And imagine if this was your academic report card and the blue swimming pool meant that you had done very well indeed. And those of you who have a back or a 80KT or whatever would have a grey swimming pool or a brown swimming pool. Now why do people do this? Because it's actually about taking data and interpreting it very, very quickly. Imagine I show you my report card, you would have to read through every line and every number and try and make sense of it. But if you visualize something like this, you can immediately understand that this is doing well. Correct? So it's about analytics, it's about visualization, it's about understanding what happens to all that big data that you have and how do you make most sense of it. So that's gamification. So we talk about cloud, we talk about social media, we talk about big data, we've talked about apps, we talked about trends like gamification. Just quick couple of more. So I want to give one example before I shift to other things. So people who think that IT is boring, it's about SQL queries and Java classes and inheritance. This is an actual customer of mine. We did a lot of work for Shahrukh for Chennai Express. And the work we did was essentially creating ways for the audiences to engage with the movie. So from apps, so you go to the next page. So we created a lot of apps. We did a lot of social media work. A lot of this was actually big data analytics at the back. It was mobile applications. It was social media, putting things on the cloud. But it doesn't have to be boring. Your work can actually be very interesting if you know how to map your technologies to, some really fun things. Go to the next one. So as an example, a simple app like this is like a Subway Surfer, a variation of Subway Surfer, had more than 1 million installs. And if you really think about it, it's a very stupid game. You just have this baby Shahrukh running away from some gundas in the game. And it had 1 million installs. So you never know what will work, what doesn't work in this weird world of technology that we live in today. Go to the next one. Again, we did a lot of work for Satyameva Jayate. For people who know Satyameva Jayate, it is Aamir Khan and television and all of that stuff. Behind the scenes, we processed 3 billion bits of data. Some of these data had to be processed within a 10-15 minute period and then given back to the producer so that it could come on the screen during the live segment of the show. So we go to the next one. So this is a screen grab. That's actually my tweet. And what you can see here is I tweeted, and within 10 minutes the tweet was processed out of the thousands of tweets that we got, and it actually went on the iPad that the host is holding in his hand. It also came on the live feed ticker at the bottom, right? And all this is actually a lot of fun, but it's actually all about mobile, social, cloud, gamification, and really analytics. Right, so those are the 4 or 5 areas that you will keep hearing, as you go forward in terms of trends. Go to the next one. Last couple of slides, wearables. Today I am wearing a watch, but very soon, I think next year if I come here, I'll definitely be having something which has email on it and which has reminders on it and which has my, all my social media life on it, my tweets coming on it, right? So wearables are going to be very important. IoT, you're going to hear IoT a lot, Internet of Things. So whatever you do, is going to get tracked whether you like it or not. Your professors are going to know exactly where you are during lectures. Your canteen bill is going to come directly into your social media profile, and all of this crap is going to happen. So you can't run away from it. Just be prepared for it. Last example, just to give you a sense of how different this world is going to be. So I don't know how many of you know Tesla. Anything about Tesla? Do you guys know Tesla? Yeah. It's a car and it's a connected car, electronic car, right? So I'll give you one use case or one nice story about this. So a few months back, or maybe